Hello there, guys. Hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are in this circus of a planet. I'm back today with another video, and I am recording live from Colombia, Medellin. I decided to come here for a couple of weeks, check it out. Very beautiful place, beautiful people, very friendly people in the valley here, and the weather pretty cool compared to Mexico, and a lot of rain, so it's nice to be reminded of my home back in the UK. But yeah, highly recommend anyone to come here. As usual, Colombia has got a bad press, like many Central American countries, for example Mexico as well, because there tends to be a little bit more freedom here. Don't get me wrong, it's if you go out in the middle of the night in the wrong area, you're asking for trouble, but it's all blown up in Western press because they don't have the full say on these countries like they do in the West. So they want to put people off from coming to experience these places and realizing that you can get a different level of freedom. So yeah, anyway, I digress. Just thought you guys might be interested in the new location. So yeah, what I'm going to speak to you today about is etheric implants. Now, these are often quite misunderstood, and I thought I'd do the video today because a lot of people are asking me about implants, and there seems to be a little bit of confusion. People are getting confused with actual physical implants as opposed to etheric implants. Now, physical implants are a thing, and I have worked with a number of people down the years, targeted individuals that have actually been physically implanted. This is when you have a person which, for whatever reason, the government really it needs to keep an eye on. Perhaps they've experienced gang stalking and really high-level targeting. So that can happen, and obviously those implants can, cause real physical problems and all kinds of stuff. So I have worked with those people. But they are more rare. Well, I say rare. When you think about all the jabs that we've had when we were kids and stuff, we've all kind of been implanted with metals and stuff. So it's not completely weird, but you get my gist, right? So when we're talking about etheric implants, basically what we have, where we have a physical brain, we also have an exact version of that in the fourth dimension. So you have a physical brain, you have a 4D brain, you have a physical heart, you have a 4D heart. You have a physical nervous system, you have a 4D nervous system, and etc., etc. So we have like a replica in 4D, and that is where we are implanted. And whenever they implant us in 4D, it affects us in our 3D physical body. So let's take the heart, for example. The heart is a very targeted area for obvious reasons, because they don't want people opening their heart. The heart is really it's really powerful, and it's very important for them to, I guess, nullify the heart, the human heart. Which, when you look at the word earth, interestingly enough, it's an anagram of the word heart. And Max Spears, who was actually murdered, I recommend you guys look for his work if you can still find it. A lot of it was taken down after he was killed. But he actually says that they're coming after they've taken over a lot of the other planets, but they're coming after the Earth. The Earth is the last battle, and it's the hardest battle for them, because the only thing for them to stop full takeover is the human heart, which is, like I say, the anagram of Earth. So we can see just in the terminology and the etymology just how important that is. Interestingly enough, it also has the word art in the word heart. Now, as creative beings, I find that extremely interesting, because the way we're going to get out of this, or at least one of the ways that we're going to get out of this, is using our creativity. Now, they hate our creativity because what is creativity is unpredictable. and they like to know everything. They like to know everything that's going to happen, and so through art, it is. It's a little bit like ad lib, right? They never know, and through art we get messages through to the subconscious in a very subtle way, in a way that's easily malleable and used by the subconscious. So that's why a lot of messages are put into music, into poetry, which is really dying art. I love poetry. Um, so when you put messages in art, it bypasses the firewall, it bypasses the conscious mind, and filters right into the subconscious. So comedy, art, music, poems, raps, all this stuff they really don't like. So they try to hijack it, and they've done that through. I mean, you look at modern day music now. I mean, I was born in the 70s, but I'm an 80s kid. You look at the messages in the music then compared to now. I mean, you've got people like Miley Cyrus just over sexualizing society, and Rihanna and all that crowd, and then you've got like the whole rap scene and the hip hop scene just promoting like this kind of gangster gang culture, gun culture. I mean, in days gone by, in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the messages in music were a lot different. Like now, is there any messages of love in music anymore? I don't even know. I can't even listen to it. So they don't like our art, so they'll try and control it. If you look at things like, I mean, I take modern art as a really prime example of this. I mean, modern art is just not, it's not art at all. It's ridiculous. There's a very famous art gallery in London called the Tate Modern. And if any of you guys have been there, you'll know it's ridiculous. I went there once when I lived in London, and there was this big exhibition room, and I walked in, and there was nothing in it. It was huge, nothing in it, apart from a stool in the middle of the room with a ball and chain attached to one of the legs, and that was supposedly the person that created that had made millions from this exhibition, and it's laughable. I mean, again, it's more, I think, just them poking fun of us, like, look how much we've hijacked art. So yeah, they hijack these things, they try and control them, because they know full well that through art and creation, we can get messages through to each other. And so this is why that word is in the heart. I've gone off on a bit of a tangent there, but I thought they were interesting points to make. So going back to implants, yeah, so they are very targeted, the heart. And I often get people that come to me in sessions, and they'll say, I can't feel my heart, I can't feel my heart energy. And that is quite often because there is a lot of implants there, hybrid implants, transhumanism implants, different devices, microchips, things like that, that are there to shut that energy down. Now, it's also a multifaceted issue with the heart, so it's not always implants. It can be, a big part of it can be through trauma, whereby, you know, you haven't done the inner work. You've basically, at some point in your childhood or even your adulthood, you've shut down. You've basically shut that down. You've shut down almost the ability to feel almost, and where you've been hurt so much, your subconscious has just like gone, right, no, you're not going there. So it can be a little bit of that as well. But more often than not, it's a lot to do with these implants that target the heart. And the brain is also highly targeted. They will do anything to distort our perceptions, to cause any issues around memory or just our cognitive functioning. They implant me a hell of a lot in my brain and in my heart. I have to work on myself constantly because they're always trying to slow down my cognitive functioning. I've found so many implants on myself down the years around the head, the brain. They will target certain areas like the hypothalamus, which is the memory center, and yeah, it can cause a lot of brain fog, and just a general slowdown of the cognitive functioning. We're already sort of bombarded with heavy metals in, a lot of the stuff that's going on in 3D, in the stuff that they're spraying and pumping into people and things like that. So this stuff really sort of just adds to that issue, really. So interestingly enough, with the implants, when I first started coming across these implants, I noticed that they basically they look exactly the same, or a lot of them look as exactly the same as the technology that Elon Musk is bringing out now. So things like the NeuroLace, the NeuroLink, all these kind of devices that we're seeing being rolled out now, it's already there. It's already there in 4D. So as above, so below. It's all just now filtering down. And so this is basically what's going on. Also, another area that I find is heavily targeted. Again, they target me in this area. They target a lot of other people in these areas. Is the throat area. Now, I mean, it's probably easier to use myself as an example, because it's easy to grasp them. But because I'm publicly speaking about a lot of stuff that they don't want me to speak about, I'll often find that they've implanted my throat. There was a very interesting live that I did a couple of months back, where simply after about 10 minutes, I had a severe dry throat, a sore throat out of nowhere. And I'd done much longer videos previously that had never happened. I've done like live presentations and things like that, and I'd never had, my throat had never gone like that so quickly. It was really grating. And I thought after the session, sorry, not after the session, but after the live, I thought that's really weird. That's never happened before. And then when I checked in, I had this massive implant in my throat. They've also implanted my throat to. This was back in the early days, to kind of change the frequency of my voice, so there would not be a resonance with people when they listen to it. So they're pretty devious with the things that they do. So my point being is that quite often a lot of people, a lot of clients that I work with, if they're out speaking truth or presenting or doing anything like that, don't have to be, a public figure or have millions of followers or anything like that. They can often be implanted there. I've also found with people with like natural talents, I've over the years worked on a couple of really talented singers, and they have a lot of implants in that area as well. And I put that down to the point that I made before, in the fact that they have the potential of reaching a lot of people with their messages. So they want to try and shut that down or hijack it in some way. But really, we have implants and etheric technology all over us. The hands, the feet. You would be surprised how much they're targeted. The feet particularly. And it's weird because when this stuff is removed, you remove it in your feet, and you'll start feeling energy in the heart and in other areas of the body, and which really just goes to show how much sort of everything is connected. The sexual organs are also targeted as well. A lot of implants around those areas, but yeah, mainly it's the heart, the throat, the brain. Also seen down the years a lot of like heavy metal helmet looking things. It's really like sci-fi stuff out there. But this is all on the astral plane of our energy body, if you like. So I really wanted to just clear that up as to what it was. But I always go back to the point and say, well, why are they doing all this, right? Why do they need to go to such lengths? These these entities, these distorted forms of consciousness? Why do they have to do all of this? Well, they need to stop us from reaching our full potential. They need to slow us down. I say this time and time again. They are terrified of us. They're terrified of us realizing who and what we are. I just had another session with the client this morning, and we were talking about how it's so genius with the new age stuff, how which I talk about a lot, how it's just got everyone to look outside of themselves in terms of like for a savior or something like that. And it's because they know full well that we have a fractal of the creator within us, and they know full well that left unchecked and left to our own devices, that we're going to be a powerhouse. So I know on the surface, when I talk about a lot of this stuff, it can be a little bit like kind of depressing. But really you have to look at the bigger picture here, because you know, if you have to control something to such extremes, it proves two things. It proves that the thing that you're trying to control is more powerful than you, and you don't have much power at all. And this is what we're dealing with, guys. This is what we're playing with. And you know, I get a lot of emails, and a lot of people are targeted, and a lot of people are under a lot of etheric interference right now. I get that, I understand that, I get it all the time, as you can imagine. But we really have to, you know, stop thinking of them as like all powerful, and you know, we're never going to be able to conquer them and all of this stuff. And because they're really just like mosquitoes. They like to think that they're super powerful, and that's what we've bought. And a lot of the things that they do are annoying, and you know, they do cause issues for sure. But we have to, again, remember who and what we are. And as I've said in numerous videos, a fractal of the creator working through each and every one of us. That's incredibly powerful, creative, powerhouse geniuses. So at the same time, at the same time that we have to understand all of this, and understand what they do, and you need to know thy enemy, right? We need to know what they're doing. We also need, part of the way we're going to get out of this and move through this and empower others and hopefully put an end to this once and for all, is to remember who and what we are as well. So it is important to get a balanced view on everything, to understand the bad, but also understand the good as well. But in terms of the etheric implants, you know, they are problematic. They can cause issues, and it's definitely a lot clearer without them. So I just wanted to clear up that it's not only in terms of technology. It's not only the implants as well. We have algorithms running through us. We have interfaces, viruses. We're basically like walking computers, essentially. So they've overlaid our energy body with a whole host of AI stuff, junk, basically space junk, if you want to call it like that. So yeah, it's problematic, but you know, it can be removed. So, but yeah, so guys, just don't forget who and what you are. And if you've got any questions about these implants, leave them in the comments below. If you're interested in working with me, you can go to my website, transcendingtimes.org. Everything that I do is up there. And don't forget to subscribe to my other channels over at BITCHUTE, Odyssey. Join me on Telegram. But I think I've said everything that I wanted to say. Yeah, have a good day, guys, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care now. Bye.